Alright, so this is the last video with our rigging, our introduction to rigging, and with our Ninja Bud character here. Very simple, but yet somewhat complicated rig. I hope that you've gotten something out of what we've covered so far. Now we are in the final stages where we're ready to do the final touches to the rig with creating the morph targets and having them control the eyes. So let's go ahead and just get started with this. Going to just go ahead and pull out a copy of this, and I'm going to call this copy 1 for now. And I'm going to, since it's linked to the head, if we rotate the head now, they're going to move. So we're going to break the link on this guy. And we see now that when we move the eyes, these guys are moving with them. So we need to go ahead and fix this. I'll go into our reaction manager, and we know it was the last thing we did, and we see that it added in the copy into the controller. So we just go ahead and delete that right out of the controller, and do it for the other one as well. Copy right here. So now it's just the circles controlling just the ninja eyes. So now it's just those guys. Okay, so what we're going to have the left and right control. So when this moves up, his eye is going to get bigger, and when it moves down, it's going to basically squash and resemble a blink. So we'll have our copy 1 here, and this will be the one that we're going to create copies from. And I'll go ahead and just going to do some copies like this, just so I'll have an easy time manipulating it. Just remember, if you're doing this in Max 2008, you need to add all the morph targets first. If you add them all at the same time, it won't crash. If you don't, they are going to crash. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and name these. This is going to be the right eye. This is going to be the one that get big first. So I'm going to call this right open. This is going to be left open. This is going to be right blink, and this is left blink. Alright, so we can get rid of this guy now. Let's just make sure I see nothing's moving. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add these into our eyes. So we're going to apply the morpher modifier to it, and we're going to come down here and check automatically reload and hit load multiple. Left blink, left open, right blink, right open, hit load, and we see nothing's doing anything now because we haven't changed them. So we'll go ahead and start. I'm going to start with this one, the right open, and the easiest way to do this is to come to right open, make a 100% change, and I'm going to come here on element, so that way we just select the whole eye. And I'm going to scale it up, and when I scale it, I'm going to watch what it says down here so that I can know how much to scale up the other one. So I'm going to scale this up 200%. I can see how big that is over here, which is fine with me. Alright, so we can close that one, and I'm going to do the left open. So again, scale and 200%. Let's do the right blink. And this time we're just going to scale straight down. And let me do this again so I can actually watch. So I want to say probably 20 would be good. And left blink. So again, down to 20. Okay, so you can see those are working. Okay, I'm going to just hide these guys for a minute. Now let's wire this up. So again, when this is up here, it's going to make the right eye get bigger, and when it comes down and hits this point, it's going to make the eye blink. So, reaction manager, and let's move this over here. So when this guy moves up on the Y, it's going to drive this guy's, let's do this over here, this guy's morpher, and this is the right open, and the right blink. So this circle is going to control both of those morph targets. Okay, so we'll get rid of this initial state and this one. So we see that this guy has two states as monitoring, so we'll go ahead and create a state with both of them. And when this guy is here, the open target is at 100, and when this guy is down here, the blink is at 100. So obviously we do the same thing again. This guy's Y position is going to control this guy's morpher left open and morpher left blink. So we get rid of these two states. We see that it has both targets. So we create the first state at 0. Move this guy up. Create a state. The left open becomes 100. Create a state. The left blink becomes 100. And we can close the reaction manager, so we get that ability. And if we select them both, then we can make him blink. And control his eyes. And if we select all of them, especially if we were to tweak these like so, anywho, okay, so we've got those reset quite nicely. The last thing we'll do is we're going to set just some easy to follow text objects. Like R, and I'm going to put an extrude on it, and we'll tell this guy to not enable And I'll put just some amount, just so we can clearly see this. And obviously this is going to be left. And I'll call this direction. Alright. So now what I want to do is just to space this out and kind of give it a little bit more of a feeling like it's actually has some purpose. So we have, you know, these guys are in their own block. And I'm just gonna line this up a little bit. And I gotta get this back here. Okay, and then I'll make one more just to kind of encapsulate the whole thing. And if we wanted to, you could do things like this. Keep in mind that, you know, if you're making the rig, you might not be the one that is animating it. It's possible, but you never know. So we can give ourselves some a little bit more user-friendly direction here. And let's say we'll just collapse this to an editable spline and adjust that like so. And now I could move all these, center them all, and that looks pretty good. So now come in here. I see that they're all lined up pretty well. So we have this guy is inside of this block. So what I'm going to do is take this one, and we will link to this guy, which will then be linked to this guy. And these will be linked here. So will these, and now these will be linked here. So if we wanted to center, we switch this back to parent, and so that is now centered, even though it kind of looked better the other way. That one's now centered. And here's the main control. So we move this, everything is going to move. And what I'm going to do is I'll put this right next to his head like so. And then this one will get linked right to his head, so that when his head rotates, the controls will follow. And everything will still work. The way that it should, because we're moving in parent direction. So and that's our rig. The last thing that we could do, that we need to do, is create a control that is going to move the whole character for placement if we need to place it, you know, in a scene in a particular way. So I'll just create a big old circle, and I'm going to center it to the world, because he's centered to the world. And if you wanted to add the little arrows, I like to sometimes. just create a copy of that and attach this one, and I'm going to bring out mine, which I've covered this on my forum. Basically, I've got two vertices here that I need to come down and fuse and then weld. I've got a script here. We'll take a look. That basically what it's doing is it's running the fuse and weld at the same time. This is on my forum under quick scripts. You can take a look at how to go about creating this. But yeah, sure. So I just select it, and now it ran both of those commands on it. So now I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to collapse it to an editable spline, and now I'm going to attach this arrow, and now I just want to refine. I want to make an arrow. I want to add these two vertices to the big circle, because the big circle didn't have a break there. So then again I can move this and then fuse and weld, and move this and fuse and weld. So there is the control for our character. Now what we need to do is we need to just link everything together so that when this moves, everything goes. And that will be, of course, linking the feet control, the head, and then we can see that we can move this guy anywhere we want to, and everything is still going to work for us. Oh, of course, the one that I haven't done. So everything still is going to bank for us correctly. So let's get this guy back here. So now there is the main control for our whole entire character. The last thing, if we really wanted to, would be to put the scripts for how to just giving us the ability to hide and stuff like that. So I'm just going to open that script and show you what it looks like. It's pretty simple. Oh, where is it? And rigging and scripts. So just go over what it is. Same kind of thing. Attributes of rig visibility. We don't need any parameters, so we just make a rollout that we're going to name banking rollout. Give it the name. Then we have a group global, and then we define some buttons like we did with the reset button. Just button. What are you going to name it? What's it going to say on the button? And same thing here. Just defining buttons. And then down here is just what I've got to, like you see when you download the Ninja rig or Ninja Bud rig, a little disclaimer. You can make this to be, you know, any kind of directions or tips or whatever on how to use your particular controls. And then down here we say when the center button has been pressed, which is the center to world. We're going to take the and this $ move Ninja Bud is actually the name of the control that I have here in my other file. So if I want this to work, then I need to actually name this object this. And So we're going to actually move that object, his position, to 0, 0, 0. And then we're going to do the same thing with the dot rotation, but it's a quaternion. So you got to write quat 30 and then 0, 0, 0. That'll take whatever rotations you had on it and zero those out as well. On hide or press, which is hide all. So when you press the button to hide all, it's going to hide, and the $ means, you know, the actual name of an object. And what it's saying is it's going to look for anything that's named IUI and then an asterisk. So it's looking for this to be the first part of the name, and whatever comes afterwards is no concern as long as it's got this in the beginning. So same thing with these. And then obviously, so it's going to hide those, and then it's going to unhide them. So let me show you what this is right here. We hide the I controls, and it's looking for anything with this name. So I'll hit Control, and I'm going to come over here. I'm going to select on all the I controls and go Tools, Rename, and we're going to add a prefix IUI and hit Rename. So now we see that they all get IUI, and everything still works the way that it should, even though they've been renamed. It's also going to hide the helpers, so all these little dummies and IK helpers and all these things. I'm going to select helpers, and I'll select all those, which we see it's selecting the helpers, the IK points, everything, and they're looking for name helpers underscore, so I'll copy that, and we'll paste that and rename them. So we see they all get the name helpers underscore, and feet control, so we'll copy that, and it just goes on, put this back here, it just goes on these two. So tools, rename, which we already have out, paste and rename. So we see foot controls and everything still works for us. Okay, so then these are the check boxes, which says basically on hide eyes, which is the name of the checkbox right here, hide eyes. So we said on hide eyes, changed the state do. The state is a variable that's being created right now. So you write this, so whenever the hide eyes checkbox, the state has been changed, we then look to see if hide eyes dot checked, which is obviously the parameter that if it's been checked, if that equals true, then we hide everything with this name, else unhide everything with that name, and then so on for those and those. The last thing we do again is we create this, and again we rename the modifier, the attribute holder, to be the main rig controls. So again we will add the attribute holder, and I will run the script, and we'll just close this, and we see it renamed it. And if we hide all, it hides the UI, the helpers, and the feet control. Unhide all brings them all out. Again, center to world. This is rotated all crazy. Pops them back where he needs to be. Hide just the eyes, hide just the helpers, hide just the feet control. And then again, my little disclaimer for creating the rig. So that's it. That is rigging our character. Notice I didn't do anything with rigging up the ponytail. I'll maybe cover something like that later on, but I think that it's good practice to be able to animate this FK. I just think that it works out better, gives you a little bit more time to practice your skills. But we might get around, maybe that'll be version 2 or something. But anyway, I hope that you got something from these videos, and I will see you next time.